music means Sunrise Extra is back. We have not seen you, lovely folks, since the Olympics in July.
You still can't see them, really? They can see you.
Oh, I see them.
We have heard from so many people who, for some reason, missed us on this show. We have been seeing your messages. We know we had one little technical hiccup that is fixed now, but also we wanted a fresh start. School is back, lots of people, you know, going back to work, of course, after the Labor Day holiday. So we are back to work now.
Should point out some people worked on the Labor Day holiday.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that was Rod.
This is probably the 20th time he has reminded us that he worked yesterday.
Based on his description of yesterday, Rod had to read all the news stories, deliver all the weather forecasts.
Backbreaking.
Write
really.
all the
Tell
news
that
content.
to Maggie Vespa, right? She was here working for us.
Oh, by the way, I see Jennifer Taft out there this morning. Good morning, Jennifer Taft.
Oh, hi, Jennifer.
Yes.
Willie Huey. Hi there, Willie. It's been a while, my friend.
Yeah.
Do you really see them?
You don't see them? Look,
Hello.
they're right there.
So we want to know, we're catching up today. You know, we don't have like a certain topic. We want to know how you guys have been. If you guys have any questions for us, we did one show that was called Ask Us Anything.
Yeah.
Ask us anything.
Yes. And it was super fun. So we want to know, like, how was your summer? How was your weekend? How are you feeling now that it's, you know, kind of back to school time?
Willie says, "What's up,
fall.
nerds?"
What's up, nerds?
That's what we're asking you. You start.
What's
You're
up,
the only
fool?
one here that I see.
Here's something we could discuss.
Yes.
I just thought of this. We didn't talk
Okay.
about it earlier. Maybe this isn't a good idea.
What?
This is sort of a rebirth of Sunrise Extra, a fresh start.
Yeah.
So this is your opportunity to weigh in and tell us how we should direct this show. You know, do you like the more serious topics? Do you prefer the lighter topics? Do you like when we're having fun, or do you like when we dive deeply into, again, some of the bigger stories of the day? Again, you have a chance right here to help reshape the show for one day. Tomorrow we're doing it all our way and only our way. No, we will take your feedback. We always do, and we'd love to hear from you today. With the rebirth of Sunrise Extra, what do you want to see more of on this little program of ours?
We have a versatile group. I think they like it all.
Well, let them tell you.
Yeah,
Brenda.
I'm just saying.
Let them tell you.
That's what I think.
Okay, are you pulling up Facebook? I've got YouTube
I've got
up.
I've kind of forgot how to do it, but
I forgot to bring my phone out.
Veronica Gaston, hey, good morning to you. She says a little bit of everything. And then she says she started sleeping in when we weren't here at 7.
Really? Wow.
Veronica Gaston, I just heard about this over the weekend, Veronica, that she has, and I don't know what exactly it is. Did you guys see this? She has a connection to 9/11.
I think she was in D.C. on a job interview when 9/11 happened.
Okay, so that may be a topic for later this week on Sunrise Extra as we approach the 20th anniversary of that day, which is Saturday. But Veronica, I did hear that you have a connection. I think you're absolutely right, Nina, that she was in D.C. the day of the attack. So Veronica, we hope to hear from you later this week. But also we want to hear from you this morning. Again, what do you like best about Sunrise Extra, and what have you been up to since we last spoke to you on the show?
You had a huge weekend. Your boys, twin boys, turned what, 13? 14.
Yes.
14.
Think about this. Well, our kids were born on the
that's
same
right.
day.
10 years apart. That's right.
I didn't figure that out until last year when you're like, hey, our kids were born on the very same day, September the 6th. And then we kind of figured out it's exactly 10 years apart. Your daughter just turned 4 yesterday. My boys are now 14. We had a 21-hour party for the boys. Just kind of prepping them for the college years.
Sleepover.
20. It started at 1:30. We had kids dropped off at our house at 1:30 on Sunday. And then they were there until about 10:30 in the morning yesterday.
How is that for a parent? Because I'm going to be interested.
Exhausting. I'll tell you what. If it was up to me,
How many kids?
it started with well, including hours, 8.
Okay.
So 6 plus 2.
Yeah.
It wound up with a fewer than that because not everyone stayed the night. But still, you know, my wife has been all about the birthday parties from the get-go. They have been big from year one. And her justification early on was, hey, it's 2 at once. These are 2 birthdays, not just 1, so let's make the day big, which is, but I'm like, can we start to dial it back a little bit? Because these have always been extravaganzas.
Yes.
The last few years, they've always involved sleepovers. I'm not a huge fan.
Well, like, tell me what, because what am I in for? Like, is everybody up at all the time? They're hyper, or like?
Because, you know, you're responsible now for not just 2 kids, but for others' kids as well for an extended period of time. You really have to be an adult.
So how present are you? Are you like walking through and just making sure like they're not breaking?
Took them to miniature golf, so I had a we ran them up to the miniature golf course in Happy Valley from our home, you know. So I had 4 kids in my car, Mia had 4 kids in hers, and then we spent about an hour there as they did that. Then we drove them back to our neighborhood, and they went to a park and they did some other games that they wanted to do on their own. We ran back home and got some stuff together for the pizza that we were going to go pick up and bring to the park, which we got. And then Mia wanted to do banana splits. I'm like, no, let's just order an ice cream cake.
Yeah.
And she said, no, we're going to do banana splits in the house, and they're going to kind of put it together. I'm like, and she said, get sprinkles at the store on Saturday. I said, Mia, they're 14 now. They're done with the sprinkles, right?
But that is the
right?
difference. 14 years old is different. We did an we did those huge extravaganzas too. And the first one that I should have caught a clue when Zach was 3, we had every relative on the planet in our backyard with the bouncy house. And I'm like, where's Zach? And he was in the house reading a book with Grammy. He was just overwhelmed.
Like too much.
It was like too much. So fast forward, Mom does not get the, you know, the hint. And we have, I think from the baseball team, it must have been probably 13 9-year-olds in the house.
Yeah.
They were covering every square inch of the dining room and living room with sleeping bags, and they were up till like 3:30. It was, I was like,
And is that like a situation where you're kind of awake the whole time of like listening for?
well, you couldn't go to sleep
because they were so loud.
Yes, they were loud, and I would try and quiet them down. And then we had them playing video games, and you know what? I bet they were older because they were stinky. So they had to probably be 10 or 11 now that I think about
that type of stink.
Going down, and I was like,
Boy
oh,
stink.
this boy stink. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa.
The good part of this, because of the stink, the good part of this sleepover at our house was it happened outside. They wanted to sleep on, so the trampoline was the birthday gift this year, the big one, and they wanted to sleep on the trampoline. So 5 of these boys slept on the trampoline Sunday into Monday, and you know, I had to keep that window open, just waiting to see like what kind of shenanigans might be going on in the backyard. But I will tell you that I slept through no problem
Most of it.
whatsoever. But it's just a long endeavor. I mean, it is just, you know, next morning, it's my wife made these buttermilk waffles.
Oh,
she made the
yum.
batter the night before, and it was just a project.
It's
I
a
was
lot.
like, hurry up.
Yeah.
You should have an adult party.
Did you
That
get the
counts.
sprinkles?
I did not get the sprinkles. I said,
And
don't
were
need-
they missed?
No.
Ah.
They had whipped cream. They had whipped cream. They
Yeah.
had bananas. They had ice cream. They
I'm
had
with Drew.
chocolate syrup.
They're 14-year-old boys. They don't need sprinkles.
Okay.
I'm with you, man.
Thank you. Thank you. So anyway, that was my late. That's why I needed to take off yesterday, because there was a lot going
That's
on
a
in my
lot.
house yesterday morning.
Yeah.
Jennifer Taft says, we're back.
Well,
I'm trying to log into
Justin likes
Facebook.
that.
Long
I
word.
can't do it.
And then she's informing me that the boys smell until they discover girls.
Oh,
Then they
yes.
clean
and
up
then
their
that
act
is
a little
the-
bit.
Could be true, yeah.
That's true.
Sheila says, I don't mind a little bit of serious, but mostly light topics is what she prefers. Get enough dark topics on the regular news.
Yeah.
Jeff Fuller
Good
saying the
point.
same thing. Jeff saying lighter topics, please. One more along those
Shannon
lines.
Thompson.
What'd she say?
Sunrise Extra feels like a family from a different mother.
Yeah, that's right. From another mother.
Twin brothers, different mothers. Candy Pike says lighter stories mostly, but both can be good. I do think people appreciate the light because that's where we can be us. You know,
Yes.
we can kind of, you know, just open up and talk about us, and you can talk about you. When we talk about the harder news, obviously we have to sort of stick to the storyline.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
how it
we
works.
had my daughter turned 4 yesterday, and she asked for pancakes. So we made some pancakes in the morning. She got a Jasmine costume from Aladdin and Batman. She's very into the superheroes now because I think all the little boys at school wear the Spider-Man shirts, and she's very into it. So we got Batman. We watched some old Batman cartoons that weren't scary. And then we took her to OMSI. She really wanted to see. Yesterday was the last day of the dinosaur exhibit, very last day. So we
Nice.
saw that for a second time.
how was that?
It's pretty cool.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're like life size and they move and have sounds, but you know they have real fossils there, and it's informative if you want it to be, or you
Yeah.
just walk around and be like, oh, you know.
You know what I think you'll find as you go along, I have found through 14 years now that the Labor Day birthday is kind of a cool birthday. Because, you know, you were asking me, geez, aren't a lot of these
Aren't
families
people
leaving the
gone?
area?
Yeah.
But for some reason they're not. And what we found, like starting with age 7, sports dominates September and October, right? Soccer and fall baseball and football. But all those sports usually do not do anything on Labor Day weekend. They free that weekend up. So that's really, once you get into September, it's hard to find days where these kids are actually available.
And people are
because
getting ready
they're
for
so
the start of
involved.
school, so they're not
Yeah. That's
away.
true.
But
Yeah.
yeah, we're gonna do a little thing for her coming up, but.
I was curious because Brenda showed us a picture last week. She showed Nina and I a picture of you. I don't know how old that picture was, but remember you showed us the picture of you and some of your
with your like college
girlfriends?
friends.
And we both thought, geez, she looks just like Brenda does her
From
daughter.
your friend's Facebook.
Oh, that was
page.
high school.
Yeah. That was high school. Yeah.
So that was a high school picture of you and some of your girlfriends, but I'm looking at you back then. I'm like, my gosh, you look just like your
just
daughter
like Jane.
today.
She looks like me.
She
by
looks
the
like
way.
you, exactly.
I was
Yeah,
here
you're right.
first.
You're right. I'm curious though, do you see like 4-year-old Nina in your 4-year-old daughter
Yeah,
now?
she looks a lot like me when I was that age. Like same little gap in her teeth right there,
funny?
and like
Cute. She's such a
little kind of pudgy little under eyes, and but yeah, she's way more outgoing and like on stage in front of people. I was shy. And so, yeah, it's just funny to see those
I
differences.
remember when Jaden was like, she had to be 3. I ran across a 3-year-old picture of me and I put it in front of her. I said, "Who is this?" And she said, "That's me."
Oh, funny.
And I said,
Yeah,
"That's
isn't that
so
cool?
Cute. That's
Yeah,
so cute.
It is.
We did look a lot alike.
Sometimes I have a nephew. I talked about my niece and nephew from Sandy
yeah,
today.
that's
So
right.
my nephew from Sandy, Isaac, who is like now almost 23. But I remember there was a picture of him as like a 3-year-old and a picture of his grandfather, my mother-in-law's dad. And it was crazy how like this kid, 2 generations separated, right? But how this boy at 3 looked just like his, I guess that would be, his grandfather at 3. It was unbelievable. They looked like twins.
Wow.
And weirdly enough, my twins, one looks just like me, and I don't know what to make of this, but the other one looks just like Rod. It's very odd.
bizarre.
It's very bizarre.
You know, my mom told me this summer, going the opposite end of the life spectrum. And my mother says she's noticed as I've gotten older, I'm starting to look more and more like her father, my grandfather.
Okay.
Interesting.
So I guess it can work both
Yep.
ways. Yeah.
The
So
DNA is
Rod,
there.
this is good for you because Eric says that his daughter is turning 11 next week and wants a mani-pedi party. So sometimes I love dads who have to do the mani-pedis with their daughters or whatever it is. When they're little, they want to
Yeah.
play things, and it's like, different.
Yeah, and
The
it's-
girl energy and the boy energy in our
It's
house was
so
very different.
We've done that for birthday parties for Natasha in the past.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you get your nails painted?
I don't go. That's my wife handles that.
Yeah.
I don't like people touching my feet, by the way.
Really?
I just don't.
I don't like feet.
Don't
either.
touch my feet.
Duly noted.
I don't like feet either.
You need them though, don't you? Don't you need
What's
them?
up, Joshua?
Yeah, no, a lot of our regulars are showing back up on the stream, which is what we were hoping to see here this morning, including Joshua Madrid. I feel like at one point when we were kind of in the Sunrise Extra groove there, I felt like Rod became the official reader of the
Joshua
Joshua Madrid
Madrid, yeah.
post. Do you want to read Joshua's post this morning?
I left my phone in the weather.
It's always a cold read too, and these
All
don't
right.
always go well. But go ahead,
No,
give it a
let's
stab.
see how it
Rod without his glasses. Here we go. Joshua says, "Good morning. Nice to see all of you again. Perfect timing as the kiddo starts middle school tomorrow, and y'all help me wake up and get my day going. I've always enjoyed the broad range of topics on the show and the way this team works through them. Hope you all have been well, and I'm looking forward to mixing it up with you again. Cheers." You know, Joshua, I'm curious, and Joshua is a bartender.
He's a
right?
mixologist, mixing it
So,
up.
yeah. So one of the stories in the news today was, of course, some of the unemployment benefits run
right.
out. And then the other side of that story is, will that spur hiring or lead to more people going back to work? And I'm be curious to see what Joshua thinks of that.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
particular
Yeah, with all the
issue,
staffing
working in the
shortages and stuff.
hospitality industry.
Well, I think a lot's going to help. Kids are back in school, and so you don't have those childcare issues or someone having to be home to do remote school with them.
Yeah.
And and the unemployment boost is done. We're going into fall. There are just so many jobs, but again, there's some people where their specific field where you've studied and you have
Yeah.
your degree in, you want the same job that you had are not hiring. So
But I tell you, I've never seen in my lifetime businesses, I'm going to use the word desperate, absolutely
Yes.
desperate to find workers. So we'll see how this plays out in the coming
Brenda, you
weeks.
were over in Gearhart for the day this weekend. Did you notice? I'm talking about that McMinimans. That's that little
Oh, yeah.
Gearhart
On the golf course there.
Golf course.
Yeah.
And I went there a couple weeks ago, and there are no servers anymore. You had to line up at the bar to put your order in, and then you sat down, and someone would bring your food later. But there are no servers walking around with menus and all that stuff. But
Well,
did you see any?
We went to a couple of friends' house, so we were outside barbecuing. We didn't go to the restaurants. But the guys played golf over at the Astoria Golf and Country Club,
That is supposed to be a spectacular course. I have not played
It's
it,
very
but I've
hilly,
heard
from what Jeff said.
Heard great things about
And he
it.
kept slicing that thing. So he went up and down and up and down.
Yeah.
You know what I thought about the coast, which is just so refreshing after the summer that we've had, and you think back to those 115, 16-degree days. It was like quintessential Oregon. It was gray, the fog settled in. It was very, very light sprinkles at some point, and I was like, I love this. Love.
Yeah.
And then the sun came out, it did a little bit of everything,
It was
but
comfortable.
that's what I took away from the coast. It was just so refreshing.
Yeah.
Speaking of the service industry, can I run a scenario by you from this weekend? Speaking of my kid's party, we bought those pizzas. I'm just curious what you all would have done in this situation.
Oh, okay. Here we go.
Scenario.
Scenario, we ordered the pizzas. I ordered a 2 extra large and a large. I didn't know what the total came to. I just ordered them over the phone, then went to pick them up 30 minutes later. I get to them, I'm paying with a card, a credit card.
Yeah.
Friendly staff behind the counter there, great staff, and they kind of say, oh, your card, sure, and they kind of say, stick it in there, and they spun that screen around, and of course, what the first thing that pops up is, tip, right? And so I'm kind of not really thinking about these kids that we're about to go hang out with again, and I think the options on that screen say 15, 18, 20, or other. And I wasn't thinking, and I kind of just got my finger going. I wanted to look cool, like, oh, I'm not going to think about this. I'm just going to tip you. And so let me first ask, what would you have done in that situation?
20.
20%.
I always do 20.
To pick up a pizza?
Pick up a pizza, Rod. I'm with you.
I probably would have hit none.
None.
None's usually an
And you
option.
would have went 20. You know what 20% of $71 is? It's a lot.
$14.
Yeah. A $14 tip just to pick up pizza?
They have to
Hence the
live
none
and
option.
eat and
They get paid.
they get
They get paid.
So you're only a
what do they
tipper
get? Tip
if
is
they're
for
bringing it to your
service.
table.
Yes. For the service at the table.
We've had this
Yes, I'm with you.
So let me ask you, guys. I don't
No.
really consider myself to be a cheap person. When I'm at a restaurant, it's always 20%, never 18 or 15. And if
Yeah.
the service can
Same.
be, if it's better, then maybe I'll take it like, what's 20%, and then throw in a couple extra dollars.
Yeah.
But I never go usually under 20. But when I pick up the pizza, I'm thinking $5. $5 for, I guess, being nice. I don't know, because they're just making the pizza and handing it to
It's a software thing. I mean,
I
it
don't know.
is. It's the iTablet
completely
error.
disagree.
What do you guys think?
Okay.
Start weighing
I mean,
in.
if you can't afford to do that, then you shouldn't do it. But
Shouldn't do
I
what?
feel like tip at that
okay.
level. But I feel like all those people back there working deserve a tip from me. Whatever they're handing me my pizza, if they're, somebody I know, somebody I don't, I always tip it.
So it's a 20, I mean, I figured out $71 for 3 pizzas. They're about, almost $25 each, right? So
Yeah,
about
they're
$23 each. I'm thinking
They're
that's
expensive.
that pizza with cheese, crust, and sauce and pepperoni on it, $23, like that's what I'm paying for, right? That's like it costs that much because we're paying for the people who made it. I got to pay 20% on top of that for just them handing it to me
Clearly,
across
you
the counter?
don't have to.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't have
But I did
to.
feel the
Choice.
pressure.
Okay, Willie Huey says, if I do takeout, I'll give like $1 or $2. If I sit down and I get served, it's 20 to 25%.
I think we're on the same page, Ms.
Renee
Everett.
Robertson wants to know, do you tip people at the drive-through window, Nina?
Do you tip people at the drive-through window?
She's, I think, like
Yeah.
when you
Yeah.
say you went to pick up the pizzas.
Right.
Yeah.
See, I'm sure you don't tip at the drive-through.
Brian
right?
Matthews says coffee. People will tip at the coffee
But what
place.
about the food carts? They do the same thing.
Sheila
You get your
says,
stuff
Speck
and
says
they
you got to
flip.
tip. Veronica Gasson says you got to tip. Christy Shirk says you got to
Do you tip at the hardware
Betty
store?
Kellogg,
That's a
you
better
gotta tip.
question.
But tip the same as you would for a person who
Shannon,
came to your
tip.
table and served you for over
Do
the
you
course
tip
of 30
at the
minutes.
hardware store when you buy a hammer?
No.
That's a fair question. 'cause
Wendy
it's the same
says
thing.
my 16-year-old
But their
who's
jobs
working
are
hard making those
dependent
pizzas
on
really appreciates those tips.
But what I'm saying, the extent of the tip.
Everybody
Like I would give a
appreciates it,
tip,
sure.
but I would not tip 20. I wouldn't give I did it accidentally on Saturday. I gave the 20%, which was $14 on those 3 pizzas. If I had been thinking the way I normally think, it would have been just a flat $5 for like a courtesy for putting the pizza together. I feel like the 20% tip is saved for people who are serving your table. Coming back and forth, do you need more water? Would you like anything else to eat? Can I get you a dessert menu? Those kind of things. Like
That's where it originated
Yeah.
from. I think that's a fair statement. That's where tipping originated from, largely. Wait staffs.
What are you going to do with the
serving
tip
there.
money that you save?
Yeah, 14 bones.
And I tell you,
are
I
you taking us?
never thought I was a cheap person, but I start to feel this day and age that I am, because I was always a 20% guy from day one, 20%. But now I'm like, I don't do 20% on a pickup. Am I
Right.
crazy?
That's
Willie, I think you and I are on
yeah.
the same
You went
page.
to pick it up yourself. Willie's
me
on the same
tell you,
page. I'm on the same page.
Last Christmas, I was desperate for a Christmas tree, and we waited too long, and everything was so expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do believe, I'm embarrassed to say this. I just needed a Christmas tree, and I think it was like $200. It was something crazy. And the little man who was helping me.
What do you mean by
There,
little man?
there was, well, I'm just saying that, the dude who was
Was he my
helping
size?
He was regular size. But literally, there was a thing for a tip. I've never tipped on a Christmas tree.
But he's like
until
wrapping it
last-
up and
but I've
putting it in
never,
your
that
car.
was
But did they
never
put
a
it on the
thing. I've
tree?
never huh?
But he put it on your car for you?
Well, yeah, there was a
Oh.
screen.
Did they cut it?
And I was like,
I think it's
See,
a
I've
default.
always tipped
I
for
mean,
that.
I think that is part of the, like,
The-
oh, if we
it's
put
the
this default
psychology of it.
screen.
It's
yes,
interesting.
It is, totally.
It's interesting how we think, because we think differently on this topic, but yet on that particular deal,
gotta go.
20 years ago, I would have I tipped the guy for wrapping it on my tree. He provided an extra service.
Now I've seen
And I
the
tipped for it.
default screen. You said it started at 15%, 18, and 20.
15, 18, 20 other.
I go somewhere for a service. I'm not going to say where, but it starts at 20 and then 23 and 25%. And I'm like, it feels good to go in the middle, but I'm like, sorry,
Yeah.
man.
2-0, please.
Going left.
all right, y'all, we've got a little today.
Thank
show
you for
cut-in
joining
coming
us
up.
again. We are
Yeah.
back. Love to see all your faces and comments. Thank you so much. You can send all of your tip comments to Drew at dcarney@kgw.com. We'll see you tomorrow.
Necessary.